kickoff.
Too late. It's moving.
Computers now have primary control of critical functions.
As everyone waits for the UFO files to drop, this week there were hints that something is in fact happening.
I don't call them aliens, and I don't know what these things are that they're using, right? But I think that there's stuff that we have witnessed as members of Congress, been briefed on that we cannot explain.
They'll be a little uncomfortable. There'll be some truths that be a hard pill to swallow, but I think it's ultimately a good thing to get this out there.
Briefed on an event that occurred where they basically tried to set up a perfect case scenario where that would cause UAP to come in.
The U.S. government understands it represents a form of sentient, non-human intelligence.
Will he actually admit this, or will it continue to cause even more division in an already divided community?
Really clear that you have been executing a disinformation campaign about this.
I think the people, the world, and the American public will be very happy to understand their place in the universe, so to speak.
I think we're going to be releasing as much as we can in the near future. I interviewed some pilots, very solid people, and they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe. So you're going to be reading about it.
Wow, it was last week's intro, and it was, queued up, and I didn't get to change it. But guess what? It works.
Yeah, it still kind of fits, and we're going to be covering the rest of the headache.
Wow, how prophetic was that? Prophetic, right?
Oh boy!
Hey, take us to presentation mode. Speaking of prophetic.
Well, first off,
no, we have to do this.
We've got Ron Lanham here to the left. That's Ron here.
Yeah.
This is Joe Perdue.
That's Joe
Perdue. Your other guy. There's Dave, Doomsday Dave.
Yeah.
We are back in the usual trio lineup tonight, baby. It is going to be a crazy show.
This is more important than us. Look, take that up there to full screen, right? So this literally just dropped 3 hours ago.
Age of Disclosure reports as of now, tomorrow is on track to be an interesting day for disclosure. Another account, meeting between Tim Burchett and the DOW is happening now. And I'm also hearing we may have a release tomorrow. First batch, trying to confirm the time.
I'm just saying. Let's brace for impact as far as it goes. Sounds like that clock's ticking down. Anyway, back to the traditional intro. I am Ron. That is Joe. That is Doomsday Dave over there in the corner. This is Wild and Weird Radio Live, and we are Disclosure, apparently.
Hey, yeah, you dig it? Check these out.
I do dig it.
It turned out fantastic. I'm super excited. I had the other one on at OBC this past weekend. Dave Eggleston, thank you. Yes, saddle up. It is going to be a wild ride because
it is.
Oh boy, we're not going to get into the full meat of why I'm so frustrated. We're going to touch on some of it. But Dave, thank you so much. Much appreciated. You are awesome. Thanks to everybody who showed up and hung out with us at OBC this past weekend. It was a great show. We were pleasantly surprised.
Oh man, we were greatly surprised. I think
we were anticipating like this post-apocalyptic patty-apocalypse sort of experience there. And it didn't happen. Like nobody really even cared.
Didn't manifest.
It was actually kind of refreshing.
It was, and we had more people actually talking to us about the things that we do, which was strange for OBC, but we'll take it, right?
Well, I mean, we're the only ones there talking about it, so it might as well come to us, right?
That's very true, and it does happen. You can't ignore the fact.
Bringing us back, so we'll keep going.
Yeah, exactly. I guess they like something that we do. All right, let's get these folks welcomed in, Joe, and let's get this show kicked off because, man, we got a little bit of news to go over, and then we got a pretty big show.
We got quite a bit. Spooky Appalachia is obviously in the house. Wolves Den Woodworks. It's good seeing you this weekend, buddy. Enzo. Well, the rumor is the first batch of Trump's UFO files will drop tomorrow. I guess we'll see if we're in for a long weekend of document diving.
Yeah.
That was kind of my assumption too. I told Ron this evening.
Yeah.
I think it's all going to be paper because it's a Friday. It's going to be later in the day, and no one likes reading anymore.
Yeah.
So, they're just going to get rid of that part first, and then the rest will come later.
Yeah.
John P., good to see you. Then we got Linda is in the house. What's going on? Brenda is here as well. 9 Lives, Donahoe. Good to see you hanging out there with us out west. We always appreciate seeing you here. Teresa's here. What's going on? Let's see who else. Dave Eggleston. What is going on, brother? WV Bigfoot Project. What's up? Then we've got who else? Rachel's in the house.
Oh my.
We have Uvaru is here. By the way, Rowan loves his little alien crochet. Power Band. What's going on, Power Band? Good to seeing you out there again. Stone Maven, what's up? Then who else we got? Jordan Booker. Happy Thursday, family. Barely made it, but you're here, and that's all that matters, my friend. And we got Byron in the house too. Look at that. Both of you is here. Good to see both of you guys hanging out there this weekend. I know y'all been insanely busy. Then we've got who else? Iski. What's going on, Iski? Good seeing you out there. We've got Nancy White. Good seeing you out there. We've been missing you, Nance. Glad to see you back out there with us. Hey, and Hellbent Holler is here. Which one is Ron?
We don't know.
It would be that one.
We don't know.
Then we got who else? Rob Posey's in the house. And the Trackway clan is here. And Jen and Gary. And
full house.
We got a full house. Max Rock Cosplay. Keller, what's going on, brother? Good seeing you. So all right, let's go ahead. Let's kick straight into this news because
we got some. Boy. I mean, we got other stuff besides that. So let's go there first. But
and the reason I wasn't here last week, my wife did win Teacher of the Year for Putnam County. Pretty stoked. Well, for her school, not Putnam County. It's Putnam County Schools Teacher of the Year, but she won for her school, which was pretty cool. Congratulations, Kelly Purdue. Love you.
That was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, she needs the award for putting up with you, but
I know, right?
No,
much less all the kids.
That's something completely different.
You know who the smart one is too. See,
right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Keep saying that to keep her marriage happy.
OBC was full of friends, rain, and cold weather, and that it was really.
Wasn't that cold? It was cold.
Banging.
Yeah, food was good, but man, it was cold.
Black Lung Ironworks.
We definitely
good seeing you out there.
We had some
I'll
fun.
let her know you said that, and thank you. All right.
Definitely had some fun. We moved a lot of paintings.
We did. Do you want to hit that? Do we want to run the news?
Nah, the whole show's news. So let's just roll with what we're rolling with.
How about this? Here.
You know what? Just hit the news thing because I don't want to hear you doing that. Hit the news thing. Hit the news button. Somebody hit the news button. Anybody.
Week off.
Oh man, here we go. Hit
the news button.
Somewhere in here.
It's in there.
Oh, there it is.
And so anyway, as you heard, the whole disclosure thing, right? But where that may be trickling down from is a little bit of there was an interview that was conducted a little bit earlier, and we have a little bit of that, and it does kind of seem like whatever's getting ready to happen is kind of imminent. Imminent. That's a great word. That
imminent,
right? I'm just saying, it's almost like it was, I don't know, planned. Anyway, take us to presentation mode.
You got it. Oh, now we're ready.
What? Okay, let's go over here. Here we go.
I want all the details.
Here's the thing.
Every other president before President Trump could have said, hey, let's look at that and get the American people the information. What did he do? He stood up an interagency process with Department of War leading that effort to get out the documentation related to everything that you're talking about, not just from the FBI, from the IC and everywhere else. And so what do? We already delivered our first tranche of information to that committee, and they're going to be publicly releasing this information very soon. We are all for it. There's nothing in this subject that we're talking about that we don't want released. Our job at the FBI is to work with the White House and DOW, give them the information, and then they're going to put that out in a methodical process. And you're going to start seeing those releases literally happening in the very near future. We just met on it.
There's nothing in there that they don't want released.
Right?
So
There's
why
nothing
haven't
in
they
there that we
released
don't
it?
want released.
So why have
That's the
we
cleanest
not?
way to do it.
Why have we not? I mean, someone wants to be on the right side of history. I mean, it's kind of what I'm seeing right there. It's like, you know what? There's just nothing in here. It's okay. We're just
Jordan
gonna do that.
Booker,
Jordan,
glad it's
thank you.
Thursday. Keeping it free, baby.
We're also glad it's Thursday. Hey, I tell you what, guys, I didn't start the count until after we were already 2 in. So it's the traditional 10, of course. And for you folks who don't know, that is what keeps the show running. That's what keeps us on the road. That's what keeps us doing what we're doing and keeping, the proverbial lights on. So many thank yous for it. And at the end of the show, yes, we will, there'll be some flute and there might be something else. I don't know yet. We'll see how that goes, but we'll see what kind of mood we're in at the end of the night, because it's going to get interesting. I can promise you this. Let's see what we got. We've got another neat video that just came out.
Whoa.
What happened?
I started typing and it started running command prompts.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as it's not running itself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We don't want it to run itself, right? So we had that. Ross Coulthart was back in the news, by the way. Thank you, Spooky. I see that. Pop Spooky up there. We go. Look at that.
I don't miss these guys.
Look at that. What should I write? That's a good question. Anyway, let's go to what Ross had to say, because he kind of verified a little bit more about some things that we were kind of theorizing about, like who might have made that contact or alleged contact. And,
right.
Was this what they needed? Did they document this? Did we get to see that at some point in the future? I don't know, but let's watch it.
Regarding recent statements made by Congressman Eric Burleson, he recently stated he was briefed by IC officials regarding an attempt to make contact with NHI that was highly successful and has changed the entire mood regarding this topic.
Okay, I think the event that Representative Eric Burleson's talking about is something that I'm kind of aware of, and yes, it is. It was something that he was given in a classified briefing. I haven't heard it from Eric Burleson, but I am aware of briefings that have been given to a number of members, including, I think, the House Majority Leader, Scalise, where essentially they've been told that, yes, the intelligence community has verified psionic summoning, inviting, that this talk of psychical abilities in the human mind to invite the phenomenon are true, are real.
So this is when this only happened a few months ago, and this is when the whole conversation changed, because that event was one that no one could deny. There were so many people that witnessed these things, and these were all credible people working in our top intelligence sector, and they brought me in and briefed me on this almost within a few days or weeks after this event happened. So, which is, I feel that was nice that they did that. They knew that I was researching this topic. Since then, that is the briefing that everybody wants.
So this is really significant, but you know what? It's not news to the extent that we know that Skywatcher had people from NASA, and I suspect also from the defense and intelligence community, watching on during their operations. And I'm told the Skywatcher operations were a lot more successful than the public has been led to believe. In fact, there are still things going on with Skywatcher that I'm excited to hear about. They were involved in operations where psionics invited, I don't like the word summoned, but certainly invited the phenomenon to appear. It did so. They certainly didn't capture them, but certainly they were able to photograph them and capture them on film and video.
There. Right there at the end.
They got him.
They got him. Right there at the end. So
irrefutable proof.
I got a feeling, because that's
what Burleson said too. He
That's
said
what
there was too many people there to see it.
Yep. And you've got to have that, you know.
NASA claims they don't have any evidence or any info. Just did that a couple days ago.
Yeah, they don't have.
Yeah, but
anything,
they didn't their statement come carefully crafted to imply that it was only space?
I think it was something like that, right?
Yeah.
I remember how they did that.
Chris, thanks, brother. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that their statement, Dave, was carefully crafted to include that they had no proof of space entities or space aliens, spacecraft, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Because things. But yeah, anyway, I think it's very interesting because we have said, you know, we need proof. They said they were going to give us proof. This was last year. We still waited and waited. My only problem is what we've said before. The proof is going to come from the source. And I don't necessarily know who the source is at this point.
Yeah.
Right. You know, who's working with who and why? That's more of the question.
Iski said their statements are all crafted, and that's the problem.
Well, of course they're crafted. They're very crafted because they can't say certain things, and you know, you'll see why. Let's see what else we've got here.
Skinner, thank you. Can't stop the signal. Where's the desert table?
He still has the coolest last name.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
He's our very own expert.
Let's go to our next one, which is let's go to Grush. I think that was kind of interesting what he said.
Oh yeah, no. That was very apropos for what turned out the rest of the week.
Right? It was almost like he knew this was coming, and he didn't. I don't think. I think this was just him being frustrated, like we were.
I think he knew because of some of the other, like when we get into the rest of the news, we'll point out why I think he knew.
You think he knew? Okay. Well, here we go. This is what Burleson had to say earlier this week, which set the stage.
A lot of talk about demons and other things like that. You know, the Vice President Vance has mentioned that. My friend, Tucker Carlson has also said that too. And I've had private conversations with him about that. And I do want to address that really quickly, both as an intel officer, a guy who studied physics, a practicing Roman Catholic like Secretary Rubio and Vice President Vance. I respect those views of spirituality and demonic deception, and I think we should be concerned about that. But I think it's theologically premature without knowing everything, equating everything to demons, because God has created this wonderful, visible and invisible order. He's created humans, animals, angels, and other types of non-human intelligence. And I don't think us as humans, we understand all of God's creation to kind of use a theological kind of framework on that. And I think that everybody needs to keep that in mind, to be respectful of that. And the Catholic Church certainly has a long history in this. And there are Catholic theologians like the late Dr. Paul Thigpen, Dr. Diana Pasulka at University of North Carolina, Dr. Brett Robinson at Notre Dame. They've provided a lot of that analysis and theological interpretation on how people can view this. So I see that as a big impasse, certainly because of the commentary that I'm hearing about that kind of thing. It's very dangerous language, and I think we need to be more thoughtful about that. And I'm just happy I'm able to plug that for a little bit, because I don't hear many advocates on the disclosure movement side really addressing that. I think it's a very dangerous mindset to be in if you preconceive all this as some sort of malevolence. And I just wanted to mention.
That's very interesting. I know that's an angle that I don't think gets enough exposure or discussion, or if it does, it gets a fear-based decision-making process, and fear-based decision-making is never a winner. It doesn't work out well.
What he said.
Never.
What he said right there. What he said. So that's interesting. And I thought, wow, that just plays right into everything that unfolded. Before we go into any of that mess.
Well, the reason I think that he made the statements that he made with Judicial Watch, is because he is a counsel for Burleson.
Yeah,
he works on his staffer for Burleson.
Yeah. So he could
everything that we're getting ready to step into here in the next bit has taken place over a period of weeks.
Well, yeah.
And he's heard the conversations. That he's addressed these things with Burleson. He was in the room with Burleson when things were said.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
so I think that was said with intent.
He even lays down the the countdown and says 60 to 90 days that they're going to release something. So that was from what he had said. Now here's that little clip.
Case, it's all hands on deck. And I don't want to be too prophetic or say by a certain date something's going to come out because there's a lot of causal factors. But I do have confidence that it's going to escalate in the next 60 to 90 days. And I think there's going to be a lot of pressure. I certainly know what Congress is doing, and I won't reveal that here. But I do see a lot of pressure to get the substantive empirical holdings that I've talked about, not videos or anything like that, out in the ether. And, I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah. So, like I said, it does seem that these people are definitely, gearing up for this. And, Burchett, of course, he was on Rogan today, which was, it's a great interview. And he even mentioned, tomorrow at 3 p.m. That was what he was told.
So you're on 3 p.m. tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, that's what. Well, he said he was to be in some meeting. So, when did they record that? See, that's the thing. Was that recorded yesterday? Because someone, that post earlier said that he was in a meeting at that point. So, you see what I'm getting at? Yeah. I don't know. I don't have the, when these things were taking place or whatnot, but we can say that something is moving, and yeah, it does seem to be. People knew that there's something going on this week with disclosure. And Friday, we've always said Friday's the day that you do it. We know it's going to come on a Friday. It's inevitable that it's going to come on a Friday, whatever it is. And it could be the first peaks of the wave, so to speak. There was another interesting little piece of news, and before we dive into the rest of what this is going to be, let's hit that because it's kind of important, I think, and kind of falls into it. In the little clip in the beginning, you heard Tim Gaudet going a little cross-examining the witness there with Sean Kirkpatrick, and called him out really good. By the way, that's still making news. But what really made the news was this little clip from Tim.
Is Atlantis real?
Yes.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, I'm part of a team, and I can't say much about this, that have researched Plato's dialogues where he discusses it. And if you do the archaeology basically around with the information he shares about the nature and geography and geology of Atlantis, we believe that there's data that is convincing that it existed and somehow encountered its demise through a catastrophic geological event around the Younger Dryas period, 12,900 or so years ago. And we're compiling the data to prove it, and we think we found the location on the seafloor where it is. And if we get a remotely operated vehicle with a camera, we might be able to even identify human-made structures that would be the proof.
Now I know why you wanted that LiDAR footage stuff that I was telling you about earlier this week, and then got completely derailed by the rest of the nonsense that ensued this week.
Right. This whole week was going to be about something completely different. And then this broke, and I'm like, no one's going to handle this.
Yeah.
This is we're doing this. So
Talks loving that Atlantis thing, by the way. You know he is.
Well, what I'd mentioned to Ron earlier this week is that there are thanks, Keller. We appreciate you, man. There are a couple independent researchers who have funded some stuff. Apparently, I would be willing to bet that. Yeah, I would be willing to bet that they were connected with what Tim's working on. I just didn't know that Tim was involved.
Yeah.
But they released some LiDAR images of using Plato's
structures,
everything, using all of his stuff. And they're like, oh, yeah, we found it. we knew for a fact that there were multiple pillars of Heracles. And then they found these geological pillars under the ocean off the coast of Africa. And then found a large round structure, like something had been planed out, right? And then also found cobbles, all a uniform size. And it's pretty interesting. So I'd be willing to bet that is what they're talking about.
Yeah, it sure is interesting. So hopefully we'll hear more about that in the very near future. But it all kind of comes back to what we've always said, that we may have not have been the first. And I think that's one of our big problems right now, right?
Yeah.
Kind of seems to be. People are kind of choking on that possibility. It's not doing too well. So take its presentation mode. I'm going to go ahead and throw up, literally. Going to throw up.
Yeah.
Bad choice of words, but I'm going to throw up one of these articles. And
we're not going to get that choice of words wrong with all the BS and the legit stuff in the news.
Yeah, we're just going to start out on this because let me see. Let me find the best part of this one, Joe, for you.
Boy.
There's a great one. Hang on. There's a really good one here. Hang on. It's this one, I think, that's in.
I need a drum roll.
Oh, yeah. Here's the picture. Ready? Here's the picture. This is my favorite one of all the pictures that got shared. This is my favorite.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
I never in a million years thought that I would have to stare. Where'd it go?
It disappeared.
It won't add it to the stage.
Oh, it's doing that again? I know what it is. Hang on. It's this. There we go.
Oh, there we have an AI Perry Stone alongside an AI Reptilian and an AI Golden Gray.
Well, he looks pretty good on an AI, right? I mean, that's
an ultra rare gray inside a gachapon pod.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah,
not sure what that is, but yeah, that's what dominated the news for the past 72 hours or so. And
48.
Yeah, I got
Can
shot
you believe
down.
it's only been 48?
No, it seems like it's been longer, honestly, because it's been nonstop.
NW, thank you.
Thank you, NW. The part that got me was when I first saw the first reports. I thought it was a joke because I saw this thing.
It came through. It was Wednesday night late. Spooky posted it.
Yeah. And then you've got this story about, they're coming out of the ground and, they're going to tell everybody, that, well, here, I'll just hang on. Let me put it over here for you. And I'm going to throw out some of. There we go. Let's do this one. Wait, that's not yet. Getting ahead of myself. Here we go. You ready, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Evangelist Perry Stone claims U.S. officials briefed pastors to prepare churches for UFO disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
Perry Stone, a prominent Tennessee-based Pentecostal evangelist. He's a pastor as well, has a huge church down there in Cleveland. Claimed that his friend told him a group of pastors were recently briefed by U.S. officials, not U.S. officials. Going to correct that. To prepare their congregations for the disclosure of UFOs and extraterrestrials. Now, it's important that we sit here for a second, and I don't want to leave his mug on the screen longer than I have.
I was going to pop him down there. We're ready for the next part of this. But
before we...
Yeah. Are you going to try to explain a little bit of the background?
He looks frustrated.
Well, he is frustrated, and he has reasons.
We love you, Joe.
We have to go about this very...
we have to tread carefully.
Yeah, that's the word. Because I don't think that everybody in this is doing something malicious. Let's just
I don't think
out right out the gate.
And I'm not going to say that Perry's doing anything as much as I want to. I'm not going to say that he's doing anything malicious. He's doing what Perry do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate.
Well, he's not the only one.
He's not the only one. Perry has been for the last 35 years on the fringe of ministry stuff. He's a big end times writer, end times theologian, has made a small fortune doing this stuff.
Look, Set Scales is going to do a video on this alien nonsense because it's a psyop. Well,
you might want to hang out there, Set.
You might want to hang out here. You might pick up on some stuff to put in that video, possibly.
Yeah.
Considering you're probably talking to the only people willing to talk about this who actually kind of understand it. So
now he is very prominent within the Pentecostal circles, as was mentioned in that article. He got involved with this indirectly, probably because for the last several years he has been like on the hard fringe with some of his theories and ideas that he shares, things that he's said. Not everything is demons. He's quick to call everything a demon without even understanding what a demon is, which is highly alarming considering the vast amount of people that follow him. It's very concerning that this is the direction that this is already taking.
Right out the gate.
Straight out of the gate. Seth Womack, what's going on, my brother?
Ain't even seen a paper yet.
Almost kind of fringe.
Yeah. So Perry, I used to follow Perry real close. Oh
my God.
Played for Perry.
That's just wrong.
I've done, he's into eschatology heavy, has been for a long time. And the problem is he has a very fixed view on this stuff. And because of these fixed views, because of end times stuff and the prophecies and the misrepresentations of these prophecies and the misinterpretations of these prophecies, a lot of that stuff's been washed up as bunk, right? Because it's stuff that just didn't happen when they said it was going to happen. And he got caught up in that stuff for a while, but he was, and still again, he's white hot when it comes to the evangelical Christian circuit. And it's really, really troubling that this is the direction this is taking.
Hey, Larry.
So if you want to jump into the next bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which is basically just, a refresher on this if people don't know what has happened. These are some of his quotes. Let me go ahead and remove
Hold on,
that
let me hide the comments here and you can throw it back up.
Can you read that though?
Yep. I'm not going to go into great detail, but there were a large number of pastors that had been invited to go to a certain state to hear some men in the United States government and others share with them the concerns that they had. He did not identify his source, Tony Merkel, on April 27th, but claimed that the person has a great church. So this meeting wasn't even a briefing. This meeting right now that everybody's talking about was put together by a podcaster. The host of the
Well, yeah. I mean, but the more important thing is all the warnings that were given at this meeting, man. There were
a bunch of warnings given at this meeting.
You got to go over those. Take this presentation. You got to go over these warnings. It's your duty to go over these warnings. It's our duty to go over these warnings. And then you can tell them the real story or the rest of the story.
Stone went to place the extraterrestrial phenomena within the framework of his dispensational premillennial eschatology. That's a mouthful for any of you normies.
What's that mean, Joe?
Dispensational, it's talking about dispensational truths. So you're looking at the Schofield kind of theology, the dispensational truths, which frame out the Zionistic Christian views as dispensationalism. Mm-hmm. And then premillennial, meaning that it is prior to the millennial reign of Christ, and eschatology, the study of end times, revelations, prophecies, end of the world at all.
Yeah, lots of
he believes pre-tribulation rapture, mm-hmm. and an Islamic Antichrist, and a third Jewish temple to be purified by red heifers. Stone claimed the officials in the supposed meeting warned the pastors that disclosure of UFOs and extraterrestrials' existence will cause some Christians to question their faith. Well, if anybody had been paying attention to our show since, 2020, they'd have known that too. But they'd have also known not to be stupid. Then, Perry Stone said that the possibility of the government blaming the rapture on an alien invasion is very possible in the light of events that have occurred in the past year.
Hey, Joe.
Well, Perry boy, if you're worried about the government blaming something on the rapture and saying that the rapture, like if aliens just take people off, that they're going to say it was a rapture, or vice versa, the rapture happens and they're going to say aliens abducted everybody. Why are you worried about it, brother? You ain't going to be here for it. If that's the case, if you think for just one moment that your theology you'd get left behind, that's not something I'd be hanging into. It's not something even you need to worry about, man.
Well, I thought it was all going to be fake with holograms, and they weren't real aliens. Isn't that or am I not? I'm not with the current conspiracy theory, right? Is that what's wrong? Am I left behind?
Yeah. The government, Joe's got it on the nose. Yeah, the government's going to skip the Vatican and go straight to Tony Merkel.
I mean, yeah. What?
Now, Enzo, you bring up a good point. Rubio is meeting at the Vatican today, but it's probably nothing. Now, here's what's going to happen. This is Perry talking.
Yeah.
You're going to hear more about this in the future. The government's going to start releasing these papers, information, possibly some video clips. He said, going to predict that such revelations will lead many to apostatize. In accordance with 2 Thessalonians 2:3, talking about how even the elect will be drawn away, that it will even, there'll be a great falling away and people will turn their backs. However, this is going to cause other people to question what's going on. What's this about? Are these demons? Is this a manifestation of fallen angels that come down for the daughters of men in the days of Noah? And is it being repeated in another form without the creation of the Anakim and the Raphaim? Man, I wish we'd have done this episode.
I know.
Years ago when I wrote it.
Yeah.
Stone,
Wouldn't have mattered.
Said he'd been teaching about such issues for decades, but missing out the most critical points, which I pointed out to him a few times. He didn't like it.
Well, you pointed out a few things to a few people that they didn't like. Let's be real about this. Folks, if you're just tuning in, Joe is quite qualified to speak about this. I just want to go ahead and let you know that's a thing. So
these names that you're going to hear today are people that I used to hang out with in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I would be in the same buildings as them, sometimes teaching. And
it's funny how this phenomena brings things together at times, isn't it?
Never in a million years would I thought that I'd be sitting here having this conversation with you guys about this part of what we do in the way we're doing it, with the names and players that are somehow managed to get themselves onto the board, yet somehow I'm not surprised.
I think we're hearing Joe's pastor voice tonight.
It's a real possibility. So,
yeah, well, anyway.
Seth could tell you. Seth's heard it a few times.
I can read this part. That way you can compose yourself. Stone concluded on his YouTube video by urging his viewers to like his video. Yes, folks.
Of course, because
that's how we do it, right? So make sure you like that video and share it. Now, we're actually wanting you to like the video and share it to get our algorithm up so we can actually get out there where people can actually hear this versus some of the other nonsense that is going to be coming out, because there's going to be a lot more nonsense than this. Trust me. And how do you know it's nonsense? Oh, you heathen. How do you know that? Let me tell you this. I learned a very long time ago that you don't question someone's faith. That's what I learned. If you want to believe something, you believe it.
Scott, shut up.
You believe it. But if
we're at the mark, by the way, Ron, it has been met.
Okay. But if you want to take that belief and run with it as the 100,000% truth that you know something that no one else knows, that's dangerous. And that's not something that we want.
Now here, this does bring up a Bible that I do use in my own studies, the Phineas Dake Annotated Reference Bible. The reason I liked this Bible is because Phineas Dake was called a heretic. So anybody who's going to be called a heretic at any point in their career, I'm automatically going to be interested in what they had to say and why they were called a heretic, because I also have my heretic merit badge, and I wanted to see. So I studied him up, and I've used the Dake Bible for ages, literally over 20 years. So anyway, Phineas Dake was fascinated by science. He was a man who studied all things, not just religion. And the world to him and what he could see was far older by the way he understood history and the way he understood antiquity and what we were led to believe. So he had this idea of a pre-Adamite world. Now, what took place in his pre-Adamite world, I cannot speak to. I don't necessarily agree with his theology that the fact that Lucifer is the one who ruled at this point, because if you actually study the scriptures and study them in a linear way, and you study them in a cohesive way, a way that instead of jumping around, just trying to idealistically pinpoint what you want to find, but if you study it across, yes, Seth, you're exactly right. Jesus was called a heretic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't agree with the stuff that about Lucifer being in there as a ruler, because one, we don't have Lucifer as a bad guy figure yet until like 500 years.
And that comes later.
Post resurrection, right?
Yeah.
We don't have that as part of our language. It's not something that was commonly thought of. If you went and you asked people who were the Second Temple Jews, and you asked them about this stuff, this was things that they were taught, because this was handed down to these people daily. By the time they were 14, 15 years old, they'd already mastered everything prior to what was going to be handed to them in the scrolls. They knew this stuff. If you were to ask a Second Temple Jew, what is a demon? They could tell you right now with no questions asked. They could explain to you, oh, well, demons are disembodied Nephilim. And the reason they're disembodied Nephilim is because that they were what was considered, and in English, we don't have any other word for this, but it is a bastard spirit. And it meant, and because English bastard is a bad word, they took that out of our translations, right? They removed that because it had such a negative connotation. They removed that word, and it just said dark spirits. Well, dark spirits is pretty vague. However, a bastard spirit meant, in ancient Hebrew, that word translated directly meant mixed spirit. It was abhorrent, not an abomination, but abhorrent. These mixed spirits were mixes of the sons of God and the women of men. Now, you ask yourself, the sons of God, well, what are the sons of God? Are the sons of God the fallen? Not necessarily. There's a whole lot here to unpack, and it is called properly the unseen realm. Are we getting Nephilim host mothers?
I would expect nothing more from you to ask that question.
When we're looking at these things, we have to look at them properly. We have to look at them in the way that it was written. We have to look at it in the way that it was described directly. Okay? We have to look at it in sometimes the most supernatural form that it was written. Because, oftentimes, especially in the American...
Hold up. You're breaking up. All right, try that.
Oftentimes in America and with the English language, it is a weak language. Yeah. So it's broken. It's not as complex as some of the ancient languages that had connectivity. It had clustering. That's the actual terminology for in linguistics, is when you have one word that has a clustered meaning. Well, in this particular situation, we have to have these clustered words, or else we lose all the context. If we lose the context, then it can willy-nilly be said that these things are demons. It can willy-nilly just be said that, hey, anything's fallen angels, anything's the sons of God, the blah, blah, blah. It's going to be Nephilim. It's going to be Anakim, Raphaim, all those words, and not know what those words mean.
Well, Joe, what do you think about the Ethiopian biblical text, which claim to go back even further and include a lot of the Gnostic passages and all that?
Yes, they do include a lot of the Gnostic passages, and they also include the Book of Enoch, which it has been a hot button issue here in the last 2 years. You know
why it's a hot button issue? Because no one's read it.
Yeah, it is.
They quote it, but all they take from it is demons.
Right.
Was Enoch taken up by demons? That's what I want to ask you.
No, Enoch was not taken up by demons, because demons are disembodied. Well, they can only possess things and basically make like a turn you into a sock puppet.
Right. Like a golem kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Like well, no, because they can't even possess that. They can't even, like, a demon cannot possess this. It cannot possess Annabelle. I'm sorry for all you Annabelle fans.
I heard they could. Dolls? You're telling me that those dolls are not possessed by demons?
They might got something, but it ain't demons. So demons are a very special class of spiritual entity. They exist exclusively in a spiritual form. They can only possess things. And if you are a believer, then you cannot. Dolls are evil. Yeah. Yes. See, they're just evil. There's plenty of other evil stuff other than demons that could be in those dolls.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So
there's a lot of stuff that gets left out. Seth says the Amplified translation was created due to the lack of detail in our English language. That's exactly right. It was. So here's where we're at. Who had the third incursion in the Nephilim Wars in their 20? Right. We're not looking. Demons don't need a craft. Demons wouldn't be. I know that there's been some guys who've really reached and they're like, oh, well, that's why they're the Greys, and the people who the ufologists say that the Greys are drones and the demons can possess the drones because they're biological bodies. It's a stretch. Maybe I'm not a demon, so I don't know enough to say like, yeah, it can or can't, but like based off my understanding, it's got to be something living, which is why Jesus was able to cast them into a pit. And this is a weird situation because right now we've got a lot of people saying a whole lot of stuff, and a lot of them don't know what they're saying. They're saying things because they're trigger words because they were trained incorrectly. They were homeschooled in the wrong home. That used to be something I would say from the pulpit quite a bit.
You actually said that in the episode.
I did.
Yeah, you did. That's one of your exact quotes from that episode. There's a couple, but that's one of the ones I remember. If you haven't watched it, you really need to go back and watch that episode, guys. I'm not kidding. I mean, yeah, I couldn't find hardly any better clip material or choice material than literally what we've already done. So, Joe, take this presentation mode and catch your breath for just a little bit.
You know, Ron, why you guys are doing that? It's like, if you go and attach some, like getting back to Annabelle for a second, if you go back, whether there's something to that or not, if enough of us, enough human beings attach something negative to an object, then just inherently, I think we can, as a collective of humans, we can make that thing negative, where it has like a negative vibe or negative energy to it, where bad things might happen, and when those bad things happen, we blame it on the doll.
Yeah, that works for places. That works for places of occupation as well. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure me and Joe have did that. We've manifested that or helped to manifest that. I'm pretty sure in the past, right?
It wasn't sops either.
No, it was legit. It was real. So anyway, there was this little clip right here, and I thought that it was. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was really good.
I'm not going to change my way of life much from a faith perspective because I'll still have that rooted faith that, God is the Father. And if God is the Father of all creation, these people, these creatures, these whatever they are, if they're spiritual beings, technological beings, whatever they are, then they're part of creation. They weren't there at one point and now are. So then that doesn't really wreck my paradigm. However, I have ministered to thousands of people who 100% would be completely shattered if they found out that, everything off this bubble is really out there. You're taking information from the source, but it's being put through a filter that's not connected to the source properly.
What's a belief filter, buddy?
It's a belief filter, 100% right. And we've talked about belief how much on this show? Because it can influence everything that you do. So this is no different. The reason we need to have this kind of conversation is because something inevitably is going to happen. And I've already seen it. I've already seen people in churches who are like, these things are of the devil. How do you know? Have you met one? Did one come up and say, "Hail Satan," and then get back in his ship and run away? I mean, what? How do you know?
That's one of my favorite quotes from the show ever. If I had to go through and find clips, this is one of my favorite clips ever. Because, it's just off the cuff and it's so true. But it literally, you predicted it in 2022. You said exactly what is happening right now. And I knew this was going to happen.
I was just hoping that it wasn't I wasn't even actively hoping at that point that it wasn't going to turn out the way it is right now.
Yeah.
I didn't have the idea in my head that it was going to be who.
Right.
The who.
Yeah.
And that there was a past that I'm going to have to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and
you know,
it's one of these things where, right now we have a ton of people that are saying a bunch of stuff. They're talking out the side of their mouth. Yeah, the Who, great band. That's exactly right. Who are you? Ooh, ooh. Anyway, they're talking out the side of their mouth, and they don't understand the damage that's going to be done. They feel that they're doing, and I'm sure a couple of these guys really truly do believe in their heart of hearts that they're doing the Lord's work, and that's the bad part. And they're running with this stuff as if it is a government organization.
Well, what's funny is you just said, hang on, I did the wrong thing. Here, take us to presentation. I can't do it for some reason. I always hit the wrong button. What you just said is one of the more interesting parts of this, because it ran from other people. I'm just going to tell you there were other people. I'm not going to put any more pictures up. I don't give these people any more credit basically than they need. But I will say this, Luna was not briefed on this secret meeting.
Not just Luna.
Oh, I know. I've got that too.
Yeah. So Representative Luna responds to the recent pastor claims. Really? I've not heard of this. And we're running point on it. And this is what's very irritating, is because, hang on. They're going out there. They tried to get out ahead of this. What happened is you had one pastor that dropped one drop in the bucket and said that they were part of this, and then all of a sudden, all these other pastors out of the same organization jumped up and like, oh, me too. We got to throw that offering plate around 6 more times, and they got to get that thing going, baby. They got to get it moving, because they can't be the only one. You can't let Greg out there get in charge. You can't let Larry out here running loose. You can't have Alan out here running roughshod on all this. I got to get in on the piece of pie too.
Well, I mean,
and that's all they all did.
Eric
got in on the piece of pie, and it was such a convoluted piece of pie. They were claiming that they were being briefed by government officials, and then you have Eric Burleson that steps up to the plate after Larry came forward saying that Eric Burleson gave them a briefing. Eric Burleson came out and said, I've had many people ask me to respond to what the internet has said about what a person has said, what he has, that I said. Really? I would remind people to listen to what I've already stated publicly, which is basically the following. I do not know what these strange objects in the skies are, and I certainly do not know their origins. I was asked to call in by phone to a conference meeting of theologians. I could not tell you all that was said at that meeting because I was not there and did not hear much of what was said. When I had a chance to speak, I expressed my views, which is that we Christians tend to get drug into our personal worldviews, even if they have nothing to do with what has actually been written in the Bible. Preach! God! It would be wise for Christians to stick to what the Bible says and not what they think it says, please. Now this seat, I'll pass the plate around right now. I'll throw dollars in it. I'll call it right now, baby.
Yeah.
You know what they're not saying though? What about other religions? Islam, Hindus, Buddhists.
Well, I'm gonna touch that here in just a moment.
We'll get there.
Okay.
So then it says the Christians to stick to what the Bible says and not what they think it says. if, and a big if, disclosure occurs of any type, then it will be all the more important for us Christians to be educated in our own scriptures. Until that time, I will continue to seek the truth, whatever it may be. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
And so what happens next is the whole thing falls apart.
Well, no, I'm going to bring. We'll talk about this. I'm going to bring up what Seth said, because Seth brings up a great valid.
Go ahead.
So Joe says the only way that we're going to get disclosure is for them to capital T, to reveal themselves publicly in a grand scale. The government waters are too cloudy and always will be.
Yeah.
It's right here, baby.
That's
disclosure. So Pastor Larry Ragland apologizes, because Larry was the one that went on there and was going ham. Charismatic pastor apologizes Wednesday after a Republican congressman disputed his claim that he was called into a private meeting with pastors and to warn them about the UFO stuff. Larry Ragland, who serves as senior pastor of Solid Rock Church in Birmingham, Alabama. The viral clip showed Ragland claiming very well-known congressman from Missouri, we all know who that is, called in a recent meeting with a group of pastors about UFOs to suggest that so-called extraterrestrials are part of a demonic conspiracy to deceive humanity. Give me a break. On speakerphone, this setting, powerful member of Congress said they are preparing to tell us that they are from another dimension, that they're our creator, and that these beings, these aliens, whatever you want to call them, that they were the ones that seeded us here, and no such thing as God, and Jesus was invented by them, and the Bible was invented by them. You would think he was just reading out of a Perry Stone book here, to be frank. The viral clip identified the member of Congress as Burleson, a devout Christian who serves on the U.S. House Oversight Committee that has been investigating unidentified anomalous phenomena. Burleson has been at the forefront for calling for government disclosure regarding UAPs related phenomena. Responded to the clip of Ragland clarifying in a late night X post on Tuesday that he was unaware of what UAPs are and simply urging Christians at the meeting to base their worldviews on what the Bible actually says.
So let me find why this is important. Let me see. Oh, yep, that's it. Right there. Right there. At the top.
Ragland's Wednesday statement confirmed Burleson's post while apologizing to him personally, noting that the congressman called in to encourage us and thank us pastors for the work that we're doing.
Here's that moment. I began this is the quote. That's the quote. This is what he said.
In that moment, I began to state things that I have always said, and that's my opinion. And all it is my opinion. That's when this disclosure comes out. It will be spun. The aliens have always been here. They seeded us, created us, first religion, and all that. That's because someone drank the Kool-Aid and never studied the ancient texts. But they just ran with the eschatology anyway, because it made them money.
The next quote at the bottom, please, if you will.
I should have stopped and paused and said, and this is my opinion. But in the heat of the moment, I didn't, and I continued. I want to make it very clear that Eric Burleson did not say those words. Those were my words, and I want to own it. You better. You wrote it. You said it. And I want to apologize directly to the Congressman Burleson. You better, because you got to think, dingus.
Yeah. So, it just kept rolling, man. They just kept coming out of the... Oops, sorry.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry.
We're back.
They just kept coming out of the woodworks today, right?
Today, God help us. And I listened to your live, Tony, if you're ever going to see this, which I doubt you are, and I doubt you care. But I listened to your live today, and I understand where you're at. I was part of the pastor alien disclosure meeting everyone's on. There's a lot of people are getting it wrong. This was not a secret government meeting. It was a private Christian intelligence effort to better understand what is really happening behind disclosure, technology involved, and spiritual deception surrounding the alien. Today, I'm sharing what actually happened, why pastors were involved, and why I believe this conversation matters for the church right now. And then he had an hour and some change long live. I watched the whole thing. And
I particularly like the part about the the fallen angel technology.
Yeah, he referenced that. That went back to, I think, like episode 80 something.
That was pretty funny. I like that.
Way back when, but it's Enochian technology.
Yeah, that's
technology.
it. That's it. Yeah.
But for real, anybody, sidebar, if you are a person of faith or just want to send up some good vibes and stuff for Tony Merkel's wife, she's dealing with some health stuff. Very real, very bad, rough circumstances, and just, remember her. But Seth, this is very appropriate. This comment's very appropriate for right now and where we're going. Seth says God, Yahweh in my faith, isn't the author of confusion. That's something that comes to mind when I examine this topic. If he wants to reveal knowledge to his people, it's never through confusion. I quoted the exact text today to Tony Merkel. Seth, we are right in the same vein, and I've quoted that also in a few other UFO groups over the last 48 hours, because Enochian technology retrieval teams.
Yeah, that's what we need. That's what we need.
It's a really, really, really crazy thing, man. Like, it's getting out of hand, and nobody's really done the study. There's not many people that have done the study. It's a really peculiar area to study, is the ancient texts, and studying the sociological and anthropological states in which those texts were originally written, because fundamentally the old Hebrew stories were just that. There were stories that were verbally handed down,
Mm-hmm.
They weren't written down until Moses, and then David compiled the rest of it.
Yeah, and then we had to get to 2026 before AI could make pretty pictures of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're dealing with something, though, like I said earlier, Second Temple Hebrews and Jews, same people. They would have known this stuff. These would have been easy questions for them to answer. But it's lost on us because it's not taught. It's not taught anymore. The Council of Nicaea stripped all that stuff out. So unless you purposefully seek this information out, you're not going to have it. You're not going to get it. You're not going to be able to tap in and look at the unseen realms.
That was another council that met in secret, right? And
it was a council. Well, they didn't meet in secret. They were pretty open, but it was Council of Nicaea. They were the ones that compiled the canonical.
Yeah, what should be there and what shouldn't be there.
Yeah, and they fought about it openly. They debated philosophically and went rounds. And that's the stuff that'll get you fired as a Sunday school teacher. Absolutely. What do you think? I wound up here in the seat, Bubby. But
it's true.
You start looking into some of these texts, and there's only a few people that will teach on these things, and they're theologians at Bible colleges, and there might be 3 of them across the entire country. Okay. And it is so difficult to find this stuff. So it makes sense why it's lost on so many people. And Seth Womack, again, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And that's exactly right. And that's what's happening right now. We're going to see this don't get it twisted. There will be a ton of people who will lose it because they don't understand their own religion. And I would argue that they were not ever part of it to begin with, that they were a part of it in name only.
Yeah.
Just like, hypothetically, like I'm a huge fan of classical music. Can't play a lick of it.
Mm-hmm.
I am a musician, not a classical one.
Yeah.
But I love listening to it. It's the same thing. Like it's one of these things where the unseen realm is a very complex place, and it exists in a way that literally every religion can talk about, because it is the cosmologic or cosmic geology or cosmic geography. I knew I'd get it. Cosmic geography of all religions. Okay. It is the hidden framework that everything is built out from. And it has one source. And there was a divine council. It's very clear what the divine council was. And then there were heavenly hosts. Not all the heavenly hosts were angels. Not all the powers of darkness were demons. There's a reason why Paul used the language of principalities, princes, rulers, because there were geographical meanings. There were terms that were used for people who possessed geographical areas. Okay. And it's because these heavenly hosts, these other entities, are very real. And when it comes to the confusion part, we're not taught about it. In fact, we're taught the opposite. We're taught that none of it was real, but then you actually look at it and you find out, holy cow, ancient Hebrews were polytheistic, and they had this whole pantheon of lower gods. And now all of a sudden things make sense. It's like, oh, well, there was this message. There was this time when he said, I'm the God above all other gods. Well, that makes sense. How could you be the God above all other gods if there were no other gods? El Shaddai.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Adonai. The Adonai is a plural word, not singular. We oftentimes, it's in the English language, we're twisted, and we because of the translation, we say that this is a Adonai means God. So Adonai was one of, it was a group. The Elohim, we misconstrue it, and we say that Elohim was God. We refer to God as Elohim. No. God was one of the Elohim. The Elohim was the divine council. yeah, gods. Seth says, unfortunately, Christianity has been misused throughout history. The Salem witch trials were the most likely people hallucinating from a molded grain, and they burned people alive because they were tripping. No, you're 100% right.
That's 100% right. That's 100% right.
You've got
fear. Fear is what does it.
Yeah, it is, because confusion.
Yep. Fear and confusion. Those are the number one things that I think are going to be. They lead to the dark side, right? That's not a. Yeah. That's there for a reason, Joe. I mean, that's part of the story. It's there for a reason. But these guys, I mean, they went out, they made these videos. They thought they were doing something right, because in their head they think it is right. That's the problem.
So we get into this from a position of bad intel across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Bad intel from religion. Bad intel from the government. Wasn't even the government.
Yeah.
Tony during his live said that the reason he could confidently state what he said in that previous post was because he was the one who orchestrated the things.
You broke up. We didn't catch any of that. You garbled. Yeah. You garbled on all that.
Oh, hang tight.
Yeah, something's up with the bandwidth or something over there. I'm not sure what's happening. Yeah.
He'll be back.
Oh, he'll be back. Yeah, he'll come right back. Folks, we definitely want to thank you for hanging in there. This is a pretty heavy conversation to have, and we just wanted to address it because we have to, and we have him back.
Any better?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, way better. Yeah.
So the bad intel coming from all sides. Tony Merkel said that he could the reason he's confidently stated what he said in the post was because in the live stream, he said that he's the one that orchestrated the meetings in Tennessee. It was his Airbnb that all these people were invited to, and that he was working with a group of intel. I didn't hear anything about it not being a psyop. Well, guess what, brother? We still got 45 minutes. Hold on to your pants. The positioning for this was that he had a meeting a couple years back. It started a couple years back. And there were some operators, as he called them. To me, in the military, that means that these guys are forward operating people.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they got in touch with people because they were concerned. This is essentially a clandestine group. Clandestine groups do not have anyone's interest in heart except for their own. Okay, just keep that in mind. So this clandestine group is trying to control the information, and then they're funneling this information into another small group of very select pastors from a very select denomination. And to push a narrative, all of these pastors have extremely large followings on social media platforms. They also are authors and have tons of books all about the same doom and gloom crap. So take that as you will. But he's the one that organized it. Tony Merkel organized it, of the confessionals. And all of that is going to be a mess. Yeah. Now, Seth says you guys are on the right track. However, talking about the ancient gods and questioning the sociological structures of time, I'm assuming there's probably more to this. Yeah, that's the same. Like, that's what I was thinking. Operators are like special ops guys. So, but yeah, see, it's that's the thing. Nobody's got the full set of answers, man.
That's the problem right there. What
and
you just said.
We don't have all the answers. We have a good chunk of the puzzle because of the research we do. See, we're not just podcast hosts. We actually conduct research. We do contact experiments. We know how to find these things when we want to.
Well, they know how to find us, apparently.
And they know how to find us too, yeah. So, and we've recorded tons of high definition footage, a couple hours worth already. And it's not just a psyop. There's something there, and it's not our tech. It's not our hardware. It's not anything in our inventory. I'm prior service Air Force.
But the psyop could be the disinformation part.
Right. The disinformation part, I think, is the psyop. This whole religious, looking at it through a religious lens. And there was a very real meeting that took place. I have spoke with somebody personally. I made a phone call to somebody that I hadn't spoken to in over a decade. And I'm not going to disclose who they were and what church that they're affiliated with. But
you know what, Seth? You might not be far off there, honestly.
And we had the conversation, and he said that there was an ecumenical meeting. Ecumenical means, for the non-religious folk, ecumenical means a gathering of all religions. This was folks from Islamic background, Christian background, Buddhists, Hindus. This was an extension of what they did with NASA 4 years ago with Hal Putnam.
That's right.
But this was a much larger gathering.
Mm-hmm. This has happened before. This has happened before. This has probably happened multiple times before.
Yes.
Well, question for Joe.
Yeah.
Questions. Okay, so all right, so they're having these meetings. All right, when they have the high level skiffs in the federal government, obviously those are need to know people, elected officials, and so on. You know, so in the grand scheme, these religious leaders, what makes them special to where that, because this is obviously not a skiff. They can't disclose the most top secret things.
No, they're not giving them top secret information in that meeting. No, and because I got a little bit about what came out in those meetings, and there was really nothing. It was just telling people to be prepared, because the biggest concern was a collapse of morality, because there were a lot of people that do not understand their own religions, like I stated earlier. And something like this could fracture it so severely that they don't have any concept of right or wrong anymore. And that's what they're really worried about. They're wanting people to go back, teach their congregants, and bring it up, be open for the conversation. And demons never came up once in that meeting. They never approached that method, but there was some stuff that was talked about that he wouldn't get into because he had a secondary meeting. He wasn't at the big conference. His pastor was.
Yeah.
And there was some stuff that he was talked about with that was basically like, this could rewrite a lot. And that's their big concern.
It's going to rewrite history. We've been saying
it only rewrites human history. It doesn't it actually doesn't rewrite anything. If you look at this properly, it bleeds into the ancient scrolls like seamlessly, and it fills in a lot of those gaps. And the possibility is that we're not the first time that this has happened.
And it makes sense now too, because right now, worldwide right now, I think we can all agree that the world's like on the edge of a knife right now, and it's ready to slip off on one side or the other, and whether it's good or bad. And just like a little thing, it's not a little thing, but in a manner of speaking, a little thing like this, I mean, I could see where it could just send society all over the world just into pure chaos. It makes sense in that respect.
It also has the possibility of unification, and people are equally terrified of that.
Agreed, especially some of this other council, because of what that could mean.
Right. I don't mean to offend anyone, but I just trust Joe Perdue's judgment on this theological issue than prosperity ministers and guys who shill freeze-dried food. Okay. Yeah.
I appreciate that, Joe.
I mean, he does a little bit. He does know a little bit. I give him that. This is his thing. This is his part, of the of what we do. Really, it comes up every now and again, but it's not one of his favorite things.
Set Scales says there are no beings from other solar systems flying around in UFOs, and that sounds like what we're getting ready to get tomorrow. With all this information, there's not been any signs of anything that is what we would call extraterrestrial.
Not yet.
Not yet, anyway.
Might be. Don't know.
We're dealing with something that has the ability to move through space-time.
Yeah, I think you're way beyond just moving through space at this point.
Yeah, you're moving through spaces, plural.
Spaces.
I feel like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, and I people want to call me Doomsday, but it's not really Doomsday. But I'm still thinking, I have a bad feeling this is going to be like a huge letdown sandwich, so to speak.
Oh, tomorrow, the document release. It's going to be a bunch of stuff we already saw. I called it whenever the Black Vault stuff got ripped that what we're going to get is a slightly less redacted version of what was already released back in, what was it, 2018, Ron?
It's back there. I can't remember.
18 or 19.
Yeah.
And if there's documents, there is things we blocked out.
I mean, I don't think so, because here's why. I think that we pushed up to the edge too far. You've got people who are paying attention now. They weren't before. They are now. That's why we're having these conversations about religion now. They know this is going to happen. It's going to come out. And there's something in there that's going to make people question these things.
Yeah.
That is going to happen. What are those things? I couldn't tell you. Is it going to be a, video of this contact protocol? I mean, we've showed you that. Did it blow your mind? Did it change your faith? It didn't ours.
Nope.
Why would it? It shouldn't. There's nothing about any of this. This is the whole point that I wanted to really, why we needed to do this show, is because if your faith is rocked by something as like this, there is no faith. There was no faith. That's the way that I see it anyway. I've had people who have come to me over the years and said stupid things. They've actually, I've been accused of a lot of stuff, guys. Look, I had experiences growing up. That's the fact. I literally, without going into it, because we don't have enough time, and I don't want to write a book, and I don't want people to read into these things and go off and think, oh, well, that makes perfect sense. That's what happened to me. No, it's not. These things are personal. Experiencers have experiences for personal reasons. We don't understand those reasons, but it helps us and it guides us and it keeps us moving forward. And pretty soon, look where we are. We're out here talking to people we don't know, and people are coming to our tables. It's the weirdest thing. And I'm always going to be grateful to whatever force that made me do that. And if you want to call that a demon, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
No, you're not wrong. Everybody in the comments is killing me though. Mm-hmm. Octopus was like, wait, am I the only one that Joe shills freeze-dried food to? And then Seth said, drop the discount code for freeze-dried food. And then I held this up and pointed at it with my middle fingers and realized I was flipping everybody off real quick.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's the discount code, #IamDisclosure. And then Dave was like, am I supposed to buy gold from you now, Joe? I have a whole box of it for the low price. Oh, man.
Yeah, well,
hey, I've got one of those number 10 cans of Mountain House here. All this stuff broke loose.
I just don't care. I'll be honest with you. I've had this conversation. Me and Nathan have had this conversation a few times. It's like, what does this matter? This doesn't change anything.
By Joe, disclosure, doomsday dinners.
If you're going to let it change stuff, then you got to question the stuff that you're actually believing.
No, you're not wrong. Like if it foundationally shakes what you believe, I'm going to use a biblical metaphor. Then you have built your house.
That's good.
On sand.
Yep.
And not upon a rock.
That's literal. That's literal right there. And folks, this is not a religious show, but
no, it's not. But this is just this is the news. We don't have a choice right now.
It's the topic. We've got to touch it. We've got to cover it because that's what we do. It's part of the whole disclosure thing. Obviously, it's been put on our plate, whether we like it or not. So we've got to touch that, and that's just how it is. So, like I said, I'm happy to do our part for this, but. If you got these people who are telling you that they know what this is, they do not know what this is. And we've said it multiple times, even if they land. I think I even said it in that episode, if one lands and it, goes up and says, hey, I'm, blah, blah, blah from here. And guess what? We created every single one of you, and everything that is a lie. Okay. How'd you create us? We created you through genetic manipulation, and we tweaked you, and we created you to basically be this being that you are today. Okay. All right. I'm listening. Okay. What else did you do? We gave you rules and we gave you laws so that you wouldn't do stupid things that you broke. Okay.
Like your moms.
I'm listening to that too. So far, you haven't said anything that says that it's contrary to what we've been taught. It's all the labels. We put God in a box. We've put all of that creation in a box, and we dared it to get out. That's the problem.
Genetically modified, and I'm still bald.
Yeah, right.
Right?
And that's the issue.
Jordan, I feel that on a deep emotional level.
We have literally created these rules for things that create rules for us. And we think that what we call it, that's what it is. What we define it, that's what it is. What we say that it can and can't do, well, that's what it does and can't do. Well, why?
Well, there's also the crowd though. You'll have a UFO land right on the front lawn of the nation's capital, and there will be a large group of people out there who will say this was AI. It's not real.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, of course you will now.
Yeah.
But again, I don't care what anyone believes. It doesn't matter to me. You believe what you want. Connection to, these things, to God in general is a personal thing. And again, that's not for me to judge. That's not for me to tell you that the beings that are coming to you and talking to you in your head, etc. That's not for me to tell you those are demons. You've already wrestled that yourself. You've already asked those questions. You've already prayed about that. And if you're praying and you think that you're possessed by demons, those two things don't go together.
They don't. And it's a common misconception.
Oh, but your faith ain't strong enough, son.
Yeah. And the thing is, it doesn't even have a single ounce to do with your faith. If that's the case, if you are fully vested in your faith and you are a believer, you might be oppressed. You might be attacked. You cannot be possessed because the certificate of ownership belongs somewhere completely different than a disembodied spirit.
Mm-hmm.
There is the deed and title to you sets on someone else's shelf, and it cannot be possessed because it has already been purchased. We'll just say it that way.
Well, I think that's very well to say that. That's a good way to put that.
So with all of this, because this has been, we're half an hour, we got half an hour to go. And I don't want to beat a dead horse any more than we have to. Just know that when it comes to this kind of topic, and when it comes to the unseen world, when it comes to these types of things, and how the phenomena and how what we do on our interests here connect with that and mingle with that is something that we have put a lot of time into. There's been a lot of study put into it. There's been a lot, just even prior to what Ron and I have done, decades of both of us having independent work into this phenomenon. Same goes with Dave. We're not speaking from a place of ignorance when we're talking about a specific this topic. Yeah, we're going to tell you there are times when we will tell you that we don't know. But that's honesty. This specific part with the religion aspects and the fallout, things of that, we are particularly equipped to handle this message with you guys and present that in a way publicly because of our background. And without going into my full background, just know that this was my life for a long time. And I studied the things that no one else wanted to touch. It is fascinating how much more there is out there than what we're told. And that goes for all religions, not just the Judeo-Christian ones, not just the Abrahamic religions.
Heck, that's even science, Joe. I mean, there's
science. Yeah.
Like natural science.
Yeah.
Astronomy.
We are looking through a mirror dimly lit. And we're trying to make the best of it. We're trying to make sense of what we're seeing based off the information we have.
Black lung, ironworks. I've kept these. Go ahead. Oh, I've kept these two subjects separate, and I never really brought the two together. I had a lot of questions to enter tonight. Well, that's why we do it. And to be 100% with you, it's not where you go automatically. I was raised in church, the whole Christian faith. I still believe in God. There's no way I don't. I'm sorry if that offends anyone. I don't care. That's just how it is. But there are other things there, and you'd be a fool to think that there are not other things there. And again, these things are measurable. They are quantifiable.
Science.
It is there's science involved in this. To say that you understand all of this is a lie. None of us understand all of this. All we can do is try to help each other get through this. And I honestly believe that's why we're here. And I've said this for years. I think that is the point of all of this. That's why we have these 49, 50 people who come here every week.
Every week.
And they support they support the show. They take away from it. I don't know how it affects them for the rest of the week. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. But I know if we hit just one person and they get the message, that's all that matters. That is really all that matters. And it's a hard subject. It's a subject that if you go to your pastor and you talk to him, what's going to happen, Joe? I mean, typically.
They're going to meet you currently with some confusion. They might just blow it all off as demons. They might blow it off as just something the enemy's trying to use to deceive you, because they don't know the answers any more than we do. But pastors, as well studied and as well versed as they are, the requirements to be a pastor is a 4-year degree, and sometimes not even that. It's why it's like it's the study that you go through to get your degree in divinity is like a mile wide and an inch deep.
Yeah.
And unless you go in deep, unless you choose to go into one of those wells, then it's going to be hard to get some of these answers.
Yeah.
Which recipe of that divinity education are you going with? There's different recipes.
Yeah, what denomination? Where are you going? And it's important to come at this from an angle that is,
guys. It's like this is like I always get the astronomy side of it. Obviously, the astrophotography, but this is one of the reasons I get into the astrophotography side of it, or the astronomy side. Also same as you guys. I grew up and I kind of got away from the faith for a bit and came back to it for several reasons, which you guys are familiar with from past conversations privately. But I'm a firm believer, and I've said this 1,000 times, that you can mix faith and science together. I think it's totally mixable. There's a fine line, maybe some things, but with the astronomy side of it, it's like I love it because you're always looking up, you're always observing. You get these beautiful pictures, or you see these things through a telescope, however you're doing it, and it's just you have all this beauty up there. And you look at that, you're like, how in the world could this be? We can't even count. There's not even a number, a word for the number of things that are out there that we do or don't understand. Just like this topic, we think we understand it to a degree, but we really don't. And once the information comes out, then it'll be convoluted, or it'll be have some organization, or we're just going to be left with more questions than we had before. That's my thoughts on it. But yeah,
I think we'll always have questions.
Yeah.
No one's going to come down, hand us a book and say, here's all the knowledge, because number one, you couldn't take it.
Yeah.
No. And then on the flip side of that coin, no one is going to try to tell you that they know all the answers without asking something from you.
That's a good point too. That's a very good point and a dangerous one.
Very.
And it happens fast. That's something that happens extremely quick.
Yeah.
My concern and hope is, though, just like with the different faiths around the world, how many wars have been started because 2 or 3 people believe in a completely different faith in a society or in a country. So, like with this information that's going to be coming out, I'm not saying it's going to start wars. I'm not trying to imply that. I'm just saying that the information that is coming out, how many people could use their faith per se to take that information and start a war with it. So,
it goes back to those clandestine groups.
Yeah.
These clandestine groups that are already clearly, they started over a year ago trying to control the narrative. This specifically was a Christian group. To be more exact, a very specific group of Christians.
Yeah.
And been game planning and strategizing for over a year to control the narrative.
Yeah.
Someone's always trying to control the narrative.
Yeah.
Always.
And someone's going to take this information, as all human beings do, and use it to their own advantage. I mean, I'm not trying to be on the negative side, but that's how all this is going to get spun eventually. There will be some that use it for positive means, and there will be a lot that use it for negative means. And
100%.
And that's just what's going to come of it, really. And I think it's going to cause a lot more confusion, just a whole lot more.
I mean, we can definitely say that it's going to cause confusion, Dave. But as long as we have people who are capable of having this kind of a conversation,
Skinner, you're ridiculous.
That is hilarious. But I think that it's more should be just a reminder that you are you. You don't need someone else to tell you what this means or that means.
Yeah.
Just, you've got a brain. Go use it, study, read, put it all together. As we always said before, put all the data on the table and look at it and see what the picture shows you. And you know what? That works with everything. It doesn't work with just, basically anomalous information. It works with everything.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to do that. And don't be afraid when you see these posts, because they're going to happen. They're going to happen.
It's no different than 2012.
Yeah.
Every one of these same pastors.
Yeah.
We're into the world, December 21st, into the world. Here it comes. We'll start the tribulation.
Dude,
the
I remember.
Calendar has nothing to do.
No, nothing at all. I remember, they would have these big revivals, and they would have all these weird posters that they would have. You get in the mail back in the day. This is 2000 and in the 90s, and they were massive revivals, and all they focused on was the end of the world. They didn't focus on a message.
Hellfire and damnation.
And I always got mad at that, and that's why they didn't really appreciate me back then, because I always said, you all need to be focusing on the word, not the words. That's what you're doing. You're just focusing on these fear words to get people to come over here. You don't need that. No one needs a bunch of, trembling mice.
The one thing that we can always look at is that we all know, we have all seen the manipulation and the twisting of faith.
Yep.
For political gain, for societal favor, to control a narrative.
Yep.
It will continue to happen. It's nothing new.
Nope.
It has been going on since before Constantine.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that has gone on. If you look back, Herodotus,
Sumerians.
Yeah, I mean, they were manipulating the religion to get people to do what they wanted. Prior to that, it was the opposite. People would build these vessels with open mouths, ask the heavenly host to come and embody them so that way they could beg, barter, and plead with them for favor. It was kind of the opposite. It was, but that's another reason why Annabelle's not possessed. Annabelle, and this is something you'll find across all cultures. Any of the old idol vessels, they were all made with an open mouth, so that way the host could come in through the mouth. Annabelle's mouth is sewed shut.
Ooh, ouch. Stop being logical. You can't do that.
Now,
we've been serious enough. I think it's time we stop being serious. This has been a really heavy, serious show.
Oh, okay, how better. Hell, Joe's like, Conan. So sorry he said Sumerians.
That's funny.
I love Conan the Barbarian. Speaking of Conan the Barbarian, He-Man comes out in like 3 weeks.
Is it 3 weeks? Oh,
yep.
I didn't know that.
June 5th.
Wow.
Seth says the Bible says to study to show yourself approved. It all comes down to your personal response to all of this, especially when it impacts your faith. It's exactly right, Seth. I wish that everyone had a head on their shoulders like you.
Yes.
Keller says the Babylonians and Sumerians worshipped Gozer. Everybody who doesn't know, Keller is a Ghostbuster.
That's funny. That's funny.
I can't do the voice very good. Are you a god? Ron, you have that voice machine beside you. You could really do a good one on that.
Yeah, I could.
I think the big thing, too, is like if you have a TV evangelist and they're bringing this subject up, and without a doubt, that one is a con artist and they're probably getting rich. Those are the ones you definitely know not to trust. You can tell who you can't trust usually. If they're TV.
Well, I got a feeling you'll be seeing a lot of those blue-eyed blonde demons showing up, the AI generated ones. And
I was one of them before I went bald.
Yeah, he was.
Who's the big one? Joe Olstein or whatever. I think he's the big one. Yeah. That's the one that would be really spinning.
I don't know. I don't call names. So.
Yeah, we should. I shouldn't. I'll take credit for that one for myself, not for Wild and Weird.
Yeah, I won't say anything. Yeah, no.
You all can agree with me.
I think that there are people who I think there are people who judge people a lot. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Well, I'm just telling truth on that.
Talking about how quickly people can flip, like societies, cultures can flip. Seth brings up a great point. The story of the golden calf in the Bible is a perfect example of how quickly and easily people can be swayed by false information.
Yeah.
It took 2 seconds for them to lose their minds. They were literally Moses going up on the Mount of Transfiguration. Moses is like, hey, I'm taking these tablets.
I'll be back.
Go up here. I'll be back in like.
Don't do anything stupid.
Yeah, I'll be back. Don't do anything stupid. Do not build any brazen images. No brazen images. He said it like 3 or 4 times, okay? Do not build any idols. Do not do any of this. I will be right back. Moses proceeds to go up on a mountain, comes back down, glowing, I'll add, dude is transfigured. He is literally glowing. He came into contact with something from another plane of existence and is literally glowing, exuding light. They were like covering this dude up with blankets because the light was so crazy. Anyway, comes down off the mountain glowing with tablets. Gets so mad, he throws the tablets down and breaks them because the first thing he sees are golden calves, gigantic golden calves built. Forged an entire golden idol. I was gone. Like 2 seconds. I was gone 2 seconds. And they already had the mold made. They were just waiting. Like, if he goes, like, what if he dies? What if he dies? If he dies, I mean, he's going to go up there. He's going to see God. He might die. We don't know. Golden idol. We're going to go ahead. We're going to make a calf. Yeah. That was a thing. But that was it, man. That was the Elohim. They had, it was the divine council. Prior to that, they had all these other entities that they were engaging with. And he come back and like one of the first things on that tablet, do not have any other gods before me. There's one.
Boom. There it is. And then, in the typical fashion of complete aggravation, smashes the tablets.
I think he was supposedly on the mountain like 3 or 4 days, wasn't it, Joe? I mean, it's supposedly.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly right off the top of my head, but he was up there for a period of days. But it wasn't that long. Like, it wasn't that long to have like a full like.
Yeah, they had to be hiding that thing somewhere, right?
Right. Like the mold
was down there.
The mold was there. They were just waiting, just in case he doesn't come back. I don't know. Golden calf sounds pretty cool and completely acceptable from a form of religion to me. I mean, it seems legit, right? They had just been on pillars. They had just seen pillars of fire. The Red Sea split, and they acted like it didn't happen. I mean, if you watch it, it is almost comedic. If you look at this and listen to the way it plays out, like there is a sense of humor there. But yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird. The world is very strange. There is an unseen world around us. We've proven that with sensors.
Yeah.
That's part of our talks when we go with these UFO conferences and the Bigfoot conferences. There is things you cannot see that are around you all the time, and these cameras and these sensors prove it.
Mm-hmm.
And here.
Right.
Yeah.
Or here.
Yeah. Absolutely. And oh yeah. And it's a fact.
Golden calf in a number 10 can.
Oh geez. But it's a fact. I mean, there are these elements of this world that we are not privy to yet.
Right. Not gonna lie, I would probably be the first on Team Golden Calf. I want to get in on the ground floor with this thing.
Joe's just wanting to melt the get the gold and retire early.
That's what it is. No, you're right, Dave. That's exactly what it is. And that's it.
But it's this subject is going to be a tricky one to wade through with your friends.
Yeah.
And that is why we wanted to do this show, and we're going to do more around this. A couple years ago, I put together a very in-depth show on this exact topic. We didn't release it because it was a lot. And we're not a religious podcast.
Yeah.
While we do touch on elements of spirituality, we are not out here trying to preach to you. Our job here is to bring you data, to bring you information, to help you make sense of what you're seeing and what's being force-fed to you in the media. Because of the media run this week, we've had to dip into some of the other stuff. We had to dip into the religion. We had to dip into the whole demons talk and everything here because, oh my God, the golden Nike. Yes, I did. The did. Yep. The golden Nike, it counted as an idol. That's right. That's the old church camp days right there, man. The golden Nike was a saint.
We definitely had to do it.
We did. We had to cover it. We had to touch this because you guys are going to get questioned. You guys who have these interests are going to hear these water cooler talks at your jobs. You better not preach to me, not in front of my God.
When are you melting it down, Joe?
Oh, all right.
Oh my God.
Oh, sorry, Joe.
No, you're fine, man. This is a conversation that you're probably gonna start having tomorrow.
Yeah.
I wanted to say real quick, Joe. It's like I think too. It's like people in this room, they're in here right now watching, and or end up watching it. Everybody's gonna be of different faiths, different backgrounds. Yes. I think what it comes down to is like, at least in this group right now, I mean, I obviously am Christian, and I know you two guys are too. But here's the thing too. It's like I also respect and accept science. Obviously, I know you guys do too, and it comes down to everyone.
Is a hologram.
Yeah, it comes down to everyone respecting one another. I know there's a couple of Wiccans in the room, and just people with different faiths and different belief systems, and it's a matter of respecting one another for our differences, as human beings should do. It's like I have no problem with someone being a different faith than me. Not at all. I have some very close friends that are atheists, for example. So we all need to support each other just as human beings in general, whether we agree or disagree.
You're making too much sense, Dave.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to wade into very confusing waters.
We're going to have to be taking some people's hands here and leading them into that water to walk across the stream, so to speak, right? So it ain't going to matter
because the rocks are slippery.
Yeah, the rocks are slippery, and that's a life right there, right? So it doesn't matter if they're atheist, Wiccan, I don't care what you call them, Muslim, Jews, I don't care. You're human, okay? Yeah. Whatever a human is. That's a tricky one. Just wait. There's more.
Yeah.
Stay tuned because spoilers.
This is something that we're all going to have to deal with imminently. No pun intended. And we're all going to have to deal with it in a way because there are people who might lose it. It might be the break point for them because whatever reason, they might throw it out. They might throw it out.
Is easier to control.
Say again, David.
I'm sorry, did I interrupt you, buddy? No, I was just saying, and a person who loses it is easier to control.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get how you want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, you're 100% right.
Yeah. Experiencers know that we don't even know what we know.
Boy, that's
so anyone who says they know what all of these entities are and what they want and their nature will invite our sincerest skepticism.
Well, you mean they're not golden ones or?
Well, here's the thing, though, with some of these experiencers. Some of the experiencers were the ones that were demon more than anybody in the posts that I've seen recently.
That's weird.
It's very concerning.
That is very concerning. Makes me wonder why. Why would that be, Joe?
Well, it would be because they've already took the narrative. They've listened to it, looking for answers.
Oh, wait. It needs to be darker. Hang on a second.
You guys, Hellgate Holler has a point here. You gotta pop him up on the screen there, Joe.
You can trust a deity that is $4,724 an ounce.
He's not wrong, I guess. Hey.
Oh, my God.
Terry McCullough, I'm not going to say it's demons, but it's demons. It's a situation where we're going to be fighting a lot of narratives. We're going to be fighting a lot of people who are vying for control. You got to remember, religion is a key voter base in America.
All right, Ron, keep doing that, and then
they run
clear.
For the last generation, politicians have ran on the basis of religion to try to get votes. So if you have an entire group that will bite into the demons thing for this, then they're going to go for it. And they're going to. I feel like we should be doing a meditative thing more than.
All I can hear was Ron's playing the music, and I just want to hear you go, "Call enough, you're free reading."
Yeah.
I was thinking this clearly.
And then you also have people who are, yeah, Joe's trying hard to focus, who are uneducated, who are on the religious and spiritual aspects, but have based their morality on just, Judeo-Christian fundamentals. That's who they're worried about losing. That's who they're worried about trying to keep control over. So if they can push a narrative that it's demons, they're going to. And we've got to be there to combat it because we don't know what it is. And unless UFO and says, "Hell, Satan," and jumps right back on it, I'm not going to be able to buy that it is a principality, a spirit of darkness, or a demon. Ron has already ascended. Oh man. Oh, cozy. I walked out of the room and I come back and started looking for a belly dancer. I can entertain. I like belly dancing though. All right, Ron, got any
final thoughts? Well, let me think about that for a second.
Golden calves and belly dancers, Skinner.
No. Would you please stop with
the wild left turn?
Belly dancers and golden calves. You people are heathens.
It's turned to an early Xbox Live voice chat. It has.
Well, it does that. It does that toward the end. So if you haven't been here toward the end, this is the end of the show. And toward the end of the show, we do a little weird stuff. There's usually a flute that gets brought out. There's some weird sounds. And we say stupid stuff because we had a serious show. So we've got to decompress a little bit. See, this is what we used to do on this show because we had a podcast at a time. We were always dead serious on this podcast. And then we started doing the lives because we didn't want to be dead serious all the time. So, we don't want to do that all the time. We don't have to do that all the time. So, I'm sorry that you had to sit through us being serious.
Yeah, because I have dreaded this all day. I'm not gonna lie. This has been my least looked forward to episode to do. I had a feeling it was coming down the pipe one day. I just did not expect it. This past Wednesday, I did not expect it to be this Friday.
Right. Isn't that weird how it all just took? Because, this whole thing, the news cycle, the whole thing, we were going to be talking more about how basically there was this, the whole Arrow thing. I don't know, no one cares anymore, but apparently, Kirkpatrick said some more stuff that no one cares about anymore. But basically said, there's nothing to see here. There's no sign that this is extraterrestrial, blah, blah, blah. Well, he's probably right. It's just those carefully chosen words.
I never thought I would think of Ron as an intergalactic belly dancer.
The golden calf, it now has a name.
I'll tell you this. If I thought that we could summon intergalactic belly dancers, I can promise you, we would have a massive following, more than 3,300
That's
people.
The Seven Sisters, man.
Oh, the Seven Sisters.
Roger.
That's right, the Seven Sisters. Yeah.
You summon the Seven Sisters, you're bound to go home with one of them.
Oh, jeez. That's just wrong on so many levels.
Oh, man.
I'm not even sure how many levels that was wrong on.
Well, Jay, while Ron plays, you guy and I can see him belly dance.
Yeah, right.
Wrong mind.
You gotta put, yeah, there we go. Let's hear it.
Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Thanks for all the support tonight. We appreciate you guys helping us keep the lights on here at Wild and Weird Studios and getting everything rolling. We will be back with you here next week, maybe sooner, depending on how all this stuff trickles out.
Yeah, we might have a special. I don't know what's going to happen.
Might have to.
Yeah.
Next time it could be a very different conversation.
It very well could be, David. You're 100% right on that. So, but we will try our best to help pull you through it. And at the end of the night, we'll just sit back, breathe, and listen to some flute and summon intergalactic belly dancing people with golden calves. I don't know. It's just
Rich the golden calf.
Oh, it's Rich. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
We're
named.
it
has a
it
name
now. Okay.
So guys, until next time, remember, hang tight. Focus on what's coming out. Do not let anybody try to run roughshod over you with any kind of religious nonsense at this point.
Grab a neighbor's hand.
Yes. Look at the data, follow the data, not bad theology, and everything will be all right. And then until further notice, next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Wild and Weird Radio Live. We will see you there. And remember, please, no building of a giant space acorn that's gold while we're gone. Thanks.
Thanks.
Stay wild and weird.